Good morning. I'm Jill Washburn, and we begin with 13 minutes of uninterrupted news starting right now. All right, we're going to start out with our top story, turning to the Middle East, where 3 American troops were killed and 34 others were injured in a drone strike on a military base in Jordan near its border with Syria. The attack targeted a base known as Tower 22, which is right across the Syrian border and very, very close to a U.S. military base in Syria that's been run by Special Operations Forces as part of their anti-Islamic State group fight for years. Investigators said Sunday that they had found a piece of the fuselage that blew off of a Boeing airliner over Oregon on Friday and hoped it would provide physical evidence of what went wrong. The so-called door plug was found by a teacher in his Oregon backyard. In addition, 2 cell phones that were sucked out of the plane in the incident were found nearby. The side of the Alaska Airlines jet opened up where aircraft maker Boeing fits a plug to cover an emergency exit that the airline does not use. The loss of the plug left a gaping hole in the side of the aircraft. The plugs are on most Boeing 737 MAX 9 jets. The Federal Aviation Administration has temporarily grounded those planes until they undergo inspections of the area around the door plug. As we head into the tax filing season, tax preparers are getting ready for waves of business. Meanwhile, the Federal Trade Commission is telling Intuit that its advertising of TurboTax is deceptive, saying the company's claims of a free tax filing did not apply to many people who use the product, telling the company to either stop using free in its ads or show the percentage of people who are eligible for the free options. Intuit said the ruling is flawed and the company is appealing it. Meanwhile, the Internal Revenue Service is developing a filing system of its own, which it says would be free to many American taxpayers. Newsnet's David Aid reports from our Washington bureau. David? Israeli forces carrying out an air assault, killing at least 28 Palestinians in Rafah. This happening just hours after Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu orders its military to plan a civilian evacuation ahead of an expected ground invasion. Gaza health officials say the strike hit 3 homes, killing 10 children, among others. Benjamin Netanyahu says Rafah is the last remaining Hamas stronghold in Gaza. The announcement also setting off widespread panic among the nearly 2 million Palestinians packed into Rafah. Right now, evacuation orders covering 2/3 of Gaza's territory. It's not clear where they could run next. So far, the Palestinian death toll sits at almost 28,000, climbing steadily after 4 months of war. This despite heavy international criticism from many countries, including the U.S. And we begin with election 2024 ahead of New Hampshire's primary today. Nikki Haley sweeps Dixville Notch's primary, winning all 6 votes at midnight on Tuesday, giving her a clean sweep over former U.S. President Donald Trump and all the other candidates. The resort town was the first place in the nation to vote in the 2024 primaries. The New Hampshire resort community has a tradition of first in the nation voting that dates back to 1960, with the results usually announced just a few minutes after midnight. With such a tiny sample of voters, the results are typically not indicative of how an election will end up, but they do provide for an early curiosity. In some previous elections, a couple of other tiny New Hampshire towns have also voted at midnight, but this year, Dixville Notch went it alone. And lawmakers continue to react to a special counsel report that declines to charge President Joe Biden with mishandling classified documents. The report, including details that question the president's memory, political opponents seizing on that portion of the report as the president and White House continue to push back. Newsnet's David Aid reports from Washington. You wouldn't think of a commuter train in New York as a place where miracles happen, but one certainly did. A few days ago, that's when Julie Barton boarded a Long Island Railroad train in Babylon with a backpack containing $12,000 cash. She transferred trains at Freeport, eventually arriving at Rockville Center. That's when she realized that she no longer had her backpack or the cash. Understandably upset, she was directed by the Long Island Railroad to go to Penn Station and file paperwork for the missing bag, which she did. She returned to Penn Station the following morning and watched as Metro Transit workers searched through a pile of bags in search of the backpack. Imagine her surprise when a worker pulled out her bag. The train's conductor had found it and turned it in. The biggest miracle, not a single dollar was missing. This time around on Jill of All Trades, we're talking breakfast. I'm going to show you how to make cinnamon roll pancakes. I'm going to show you how to change a couple filters on your car, one that you already know about and one that you probably don't. We are in the thick of winter and I've got some winter driving tips for you. Let's go for a ride. This time around on Jill of All Trades, I'm going to show you how to make the coolest thing if you love to bake. If you bake, you probably use a lot of vanilla extract and you just get the basic stuff at the store. Somebody gave me, actually my daughter gave me homemade vanilla extract. She made it herself and it is so good that now I am hooked on it, and it's so easy to make. I'm going to show you how to do it. First thing you need to do is get some vanilla beans. Now, for me, the best place I found to get them the most affordable is actually on Amazon. These were about $37 for 50, but you can use them over and over. So over time, you're going to get your money out of them. So the first thing you do, you take your beans out of the package, and you're going to want to split them the best you can. They're a little crooked, so it's a little tough, but just take a knife and split them. You want to get them opened up a little bit so that you can actually see the vanilla beans. Now, these bottles that I'm using, I also got on Amazon. They're a little small, so we're gonna do maybe 5 beans per. If you use bigger ones, you might want to use 7, 8, 9 beans, but these are a little smaller. And if they're too long, you can even cut them in half. So the next thing you want to do is take your little bottle. You have to have something that has a tight seal on it, and we're going to use vodka. And you want to fill it nearly all the way. We can always top it off if we need to. Okay, and then just put your beans inside. All right, good. Now, just seal them up. Pop those little corks on. Now, you could wait as little as a month to use it. Really, you should wait 4 months. The ones I got, I actually let them set for a year because I wanted them to be super vanilla-y, and they were when I finally used it, and it was delicious. I used it in frosting and cakes and whatever, and it was fantastic. What you need to do, take a permanent marker and write on there the date that you did it, the earliest date that you would want to use it. I would say 4 months from now. So now I'm going to just set these aside on a closet shelf or a pantry shelf. And every once in a while, if I'm in there and I kind of think about it, I'm just going to give them just a little shake, help mix it up a little bit. But a few months from now, those are going to be fantastic and ready to go. So there you have it, homemade vanilla on Jill of All Trades. I'm Jill Washburn, and you're watching NewsNet. We'll be right back.